Hi, I'm Chuck Colson with this week's 2-Minute Warning. As you've doubtless heard, Apple caved in to the gay rights activists and has removed an iPhone application that allows users to view and sign the Manhattan Declaration. According to Apple, the Manhattan Declaration app violated its guidelines by being offensive to large groups of people. I guess large groups of people means the 7,700 who signed a petition urging the application to be removed because supposedly it promotes gay bashing. The complaint certainly couldn't have come from the nearly 500,000 people who signed the Manhattan Declaration, representing virtually every Christian denomination, or from the nearly 50,000 people who signed a petition asking Apple to reinstate the app. More to the point, in calling the Manhattan Declaration offensive, Apple is accusing those of us who wrote it, and more importantly those who signed it, of incivility. But they got it backwards, folks. There's nothing uncivil, much less hateful, about the Manhattan Declaration. It respectfully promotes the sanctity of every human life, traditional marriage, and religious freedom. It reminds me of a basic truth that makes democracy possible. Democracy can be maintained only if there's free and open debate, if all points of view can be expressed and discussed civilly. Thomas Aquinas was right when he taught that civilization advances on conversation, the civil exchange of ideas. The suppression of ideas and discussion can lead only to tyranny. This is why I am so concerned about what's happening here and the implications it has for the future. If, at the urging of a small group, something as important and broadly accepted as the Manhattan Declaration can be declared outside the bounds of civil discourse, democracy in our country is in big trouble. But to say this document does not engage in civil discourse is patently false. The Manhattan Declaration is nothing if not civil, especially when it talks about those who may disagree with our positions. Let me read you what the Manhattan Declaration says about the homosexual community. We acknowledge that there are those who are disposed toward homosexual and polyamorous conduct in relationships. We have compassion for those so disposed. We respect them as human beings, possessing profound, inherent, and equal dignity. And in fact, the Manhattan Declaration goes even farther. One sign of civility in reasoned discourse is self-examination. So, whom does the Manhattan Declaration single out for the decline of traditional marriage in our society? Not the gays, not the secularists. No, it calls the church to account. Let me read again. We confess with sadness that Christians and our institutions have too often scandalously failed to uphold the institution of marriage and to model for the world the true meaning of marriage. Insofar as we have too easily embraced the culture of divorce and remained silent about social practices that undermine the dignity of marriage, we repent and call upon all Christians to do the same. Folks, this is civil discourse incarnate. Nobody can say this is hate speech. Anyone on either side of the debate who's offended by this needs a thicker skin, plain and simple, which makes Apple's decision hard to understand. Apple can't hide behind its identity as a private entity. Apple is a major culture shaper, a public conduit for a vast portion of the information exchanged around the country and around the world. So it has a responsibility to the public to allow reasoned civil discourse on the major social and cultural issues of our time. Well, this blow-up over the Manhattan Declaration app is just the beginning. Frankly, those who support so-called gay marriage went after the Manhattan Declaration, I think, as a test case. That's because if they can get Apple to shut out such a reasoned civil statement, take it from its app store, no Christian pro-life, pro-marriage app is then safe. That's the point made in a great video I saw produced by the folks at Citizen Link about Apple and the Manhattan Declaration app. Great stuff. You gotta see it. And you can watch it right here at colsoncenter.org. Remember, folks, the real victim of Apple's action is not the Manhattan Declaration. It's the free exchange of ideas, the very heartbeat of democracy. And that's the real offense. I'm Chuck Colson. That's this week's 2-Minute Warning.